You've probably heard it before. The F-22 Raptor, America's air dominance champion, the king of the skies, capable of outrunning and outgunning just about anything in the air. And then there's the F-16 Fighting Falcon, the workhorse of the US and Allied air forces for decades. On paper, one looks like a Ferrari and the other like an old reliable pickup. But here's the real kicker. Speed, stealth, and price tags don't always tell the whole story. Because if you put the Raptor and the Falcon side by side, you start to see something fascinating. The faster jet isn't necessarily the better one. It's just better at one very specific job. Let's unpack that. When we talk about speed, the F-22 Raptor is a monster. It can cruise at over Mach 2.25. That's around 1,500 miles per hour without even needing afterburners. The F-16, meanwhile, tops out at Mach 2, which is still impressive, but it's a full step behind the Raptor in sheer acceleration and supercruise performance. On top of that, the Raptor's stealth profile is practically science fiction. Its radar cross-section is so tiny, about 0.0001 square meters, that it's smaller than a bumblebee on radar. The F-16, around 5 square meters. That's not a small difference. It's the difference between being invisible and being lit up like a Christmas tree on an enemy radar screen. So, case closed, right? The F-22 wins. Faster, stealthier, deadlier. Well, not exactly. Because in modern air combat, better isn't just about who can fly faster or hide better. It's about who can do more for longer and for less. See, the F-22 was never meant to be a jack of all trades. It was designed in the late Cold War era for one thing: absolute air dominance. Its job was to hunt down enemy fighters, especially next-gen Soviet aircraft, and clear the skies before other jets even arrived. It's the tip of the spear, not the whole arsenal. The Raptor can carry some bombs, sure, 2,000-pound GBU-32 JDAMs internally, but that's about it. And if you try to load it up with external weapons, you instantly compromise its stealth advantage, the very thing that makes it special. Now contrast that with the F-16 Fighting Falcon. This thing was built to be flexible, adaptable, and cheap to operate. It's a true multi-role fighter. Air-to-air? Check. Air-to-ground? Absolutely. You can load it up with 2,000-pound bombs, AIM-9 Sidewinders, AIM-120 AMRAAMs, and still carry external fuel tanks to extend its range. The Falcon might not sneak up on you, but it can carry enough firepower to flatten the small city block and still make it home. If the F-22 is a scalpel, the F-16 is a Swiss Army knife, and that's where the real comparison lies. Because war isn't just about having the best technology, it's about having the right tool for the right mission. Now, let's talk about something that often decides everything before a jet even takes off: cost. The F-22 is a masterpiece of engineering, but masterpieces aren't cheap. Each jet costs around $185 million, and every flight hour racks up a jaw-dropping $85,000 in maintenance. That's why production stopped after just 187 units. It's too expensive to build, too costly to maintain, and too complex to export. Meanwhile, the F-16 rolls in at a fraction of that cost, between $25 and $30 million for base models, and even the most advanced variants top out around $70 million. And it only costs about $27,000 per flight hour to operate. For the price of one Raptor, you could field 2 or 3 of the latest F-16s and still have enough budget left for spare parts, fuel, and maybe even a new hangar. That kind of cost efficiency matters because in a real-world conflict, numbers and sustainment often beat elite performance. If you're a smaller nation trying to build an air force, the decision is simple. The F-22 is an elite asset you'll never get because the US doesn't sell it abroad. The F-16, on the other hand, is battle-proven, widely supported, and still being upgraded. From the deserts of the Middle East to the skies over Ukraine, the Falcon continues to prove its worth. It's like this. The Raptor is the heavyweight champion of the world. It can dominate any airspace it enters. But the F-16, that's the dependable veteran, the one that shows up for every fight, every mission, every day. And that brings us to an interesting point about modern warfare. The definition of better has changed. It's not about who can fly at Mach 2 anymore. It's about who can integrate, adapt, and survive in a complex network battle space. The F-16 fits perfectly into that ecosystem. Cheap, plentiful, upgradable. The F-22, for all its brilliance, is limited by cost, maintenance, and availability. If we're talking one-on-one dogfights, sure, the Raptor wins hands down. It would likely detect, engage, and destroy an F-16 before the Falcon even knew it was being targeted. But wars aren't fought one-on-one anymore. They're fought with systems, coordination, and strategy. And in that bigger picture, the Falcon still holds incredible value. In an ideal U.S. Air Force scenario, you'd want both, the F-22 sweeping the skies clean and the F-16s moving in to strike targets, support ground troops, and maintain presence. But if you had to pick one for a real-world budget and global deployment, the smart money goes to the F-16. Because sometimes being faster doesn't mean being better. It's about how well a fighter fits the mission, how often it can fly, and how many you can afford to send into the sky. The F-22 may be the apex predator of the air, but the F-16 remains the backbone of modern air power, a perfect reminder that in aviation, balance often beats brilliance.